let's start talking about the book. And I'm sure most interviews that you have done, all they want to ask you is about the relationship, the next strategy, and what is going to happen in the next Lok Sabha election. So I want to start about the relationship part. What is exact relationship today between the BJP and the RSS? What is the exact relationship between the two individuals, Mr. Narendra Modi and Mr. Mohan Bhagwat?
Right. You're right that that is the question that's almost always asked. As you may know, a little history, the Jana Sangh, the parent party of the Bharatiya Janata Party, was formed by a person who was not an RSS person, Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. And it was supported by Guru Gowalkar, who was the head of the RSS at that time, because he didn't want the RSS to become a political party. There was, in my book, in fact, our previous book, The Brotherhood in Saffron, we go into the history more than in this one. There were RSS activists who wanted the RSS to become a political party. And the Gowalkar, I think very wisely, decided this was not a good idea. And so as a kind of compromise is the Bharatiya Janata Sangh was formed. It then later became, after the emergency, it then, it turned into, under Vajpayee and Advani, into the Bharatiya Janata Party. And the party and the RSS, the RSS is not the party, and it doesn't want to be the party. In fact, a very senior RSS person who I saw a few days ago, and I won't give his name because it wasn't a formal interview, I asked him that question too. I said, what is your relationship with the party? And his answer was a very typical one. He said, we are not the party, we don't want to be the party. And he said, all you have to do is look at the 2014 election when the head of the RSS had to, on several occasions, make some public statements that the volunteers of the Swayamsevak who are working for the BJP in those elections have to remember that they are first and foremost members of the RSS. So there was a sense of distinction. And the two have had differences over the past 30 years in terms of policy. Now, does the RSS want the BJP to win? Of course they do. But to what extent are they willing to work for it? It varies. In the elections of 1977 and 2014, they went all out. Because in both cases, what united them in going all out was they feared that there would be restrictions on their activities. After the emergency, the RSS was outlawed during the emergency. And in this case, there were the charges among some of saffron terrorism.
So you expect that in next election, that kind of involvement, intensity will not be there in the next election?
Unless something drastically happens, and I don't see that happening, no. Politics, you never know. Politics, can change quickly, but I don't imagine.
But why shouldn't RSS really go all out only because in their 90 years of history, this kind of power, this kind of success, they never tested. So if they have a good 10-year run where one of their organization called BJP is in the power, they grow and they can do whatever they want to. So they should go whole hog.
But partly it's the way that they look at themselves and what they are not politicians. In fact, the way they look at policy as bottom up, whereas political parties as part of the government look at as top down, and you get a fundamental difference there. And the RSS has always been, even today, among some people who are somewhat surprising, have a certain suspicion of government and what it does, the deep state. There is a fear of the deep state. Now, one of the ironies today is if the BJP, let's say, wins or forms the government after 2019, they will have had 2 terms, and maybe they'll have 3. Then there's a possibility that the BJP becomes part of the deep state.